One special data structure you will use a lot is the so-called TArray. When you encounter a problem where you want to store a collection of data, the TArray is your best friend. Because TArrays can be used to store a collection of data as a sequence. So, for example, if you want to store all player objects at one location, you could make use of a TArray. To create a TArray, we have to write TArray less than sign, then the data type we want to use for this TArray, greater than sign, and like for most variables, you have to provide the name of this TArray. So what we could write to create a TArray of integers would be this. Or for a TArray of booleans, we can write it like this. Obviously, when you have a list of different elements, you want to access those elements. For that, you can use the index of the position of the element inside of the TArray. So, for example, we have a TArray of integers. And currently we have those numbers stored inside this TArray. The bottom row shows the values of the numbers and the top row shows the index of each number. So the location inside the TArray. You can see that the index starts at 0. And then just goes up by 1 when we go on further down the TArray. So to access the first element, we can write it like this. So basically we have to write the name of the TArray, then behind the name those square brackets, and then between the brackets we have to write the index we want to access. By writing 0 between the square brackets, we access the first element in the TArray. So if we want to access this value, the number 3, we need to write it like this. When we use indexing, we have to ensure that we use an index that is valid for this TArray. So we can't access an index that currently has no value stored in it. So if we try to access the value at index 5 for this array, that would cause an error since we're trying to access an element that does not exist. When you have created a TArray, you can call certain methods to execute functionality on this TArray. One method you will use a lot is the add method. Here we just have to provide the elements that we want to put at the end of our TArray. In our case, if we want to add another 3 to our TArray, we can write it like this. If you want to place a new value at an existing index, so basically overwrite a value that already exists, you can use indexing again, similar to this. In this example, you would set the value of the element at index 1 to 4. But what you also can use is the insert method. Here you have to provide the index at which you want to put a new element and the element itself. When you call insert, you place the element in that location, the index you have provided, but you don't delete the element that is currently placed at this index. You rather offset the block from the index you have provided to the end of the list by 1. To check the number of elements that are currently stored inside a TArray, you can call the num method. This method can be used to check if an index that is provided is valid for a TArray. Or it can also be used to check what is the value of the last element in our TArray. Sometimes you might also need to remove elements. For that you can use remove at to delete an element at a certain index. For example, we can use the index 3, then the element at index 3 gets deleted and the block that follows after moves 1 up. But you can also use the remove method and then provide an element that should get deleted. Then it will delete all occurrences of the element you have provided. So again, an example, if we provide 3 as the element we want to delete, we can see we have 2 3 elements and it will delete both occurrences of the element. If you want to delete everything that is currently stored inside the TArray, you just can call the empty method. One last thing you might ask yourself, why do I have to use TArray and can't use, for example, std vector? That is part of the standard C++ library. TArray is already set up for being used inside of Unreal Engine. That means it works seamlessly with the garbage collection and can also be easily set up to be exposed in the Unreal editor. For today's exercise, iterate over the range from 1 to 100 and find all prime numbers. Store those prime numbers inside a TArray. Then, based on the TArray, calculate the sum of all the prime numbers that you have found. Like always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, see you next time.